Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Du Hao, the team leader from Tutorial Group 2, Team A. So let me introduce my teammate first. In our group, we have Ding Yunhan, Feng Fang, Gao Fei, Haruma Takayanagi, Fan Kunchen. Religion is often seen something personal, private, and spiritual, but many places around the world, especially in Southeast Asia, religion is also deeply social, political, practical. It shapes how people respond to environmental distractions, economic hardship, culture change, and even personal identity. Today, we want to talk about how religion lived in everyday life, but not just in temple, church, mosques, but in forest, classroom, home, and on the body itself. Go through our learning. We will show how religion become a powerful force to face the modern threat. But religion is not always being peaceful. It still will create a lot of conflicts between generations, genders, institutions, and beliefs. The core things why that happen because basic questions. Who has the power to defend what is secret? And how should we live accordingly? So, in this presentation, we'll answer these follow three questions. So, let's start the first part.
Okay, so today I'd like to briefly talk about some of the contemporary issues people face in Southeast Asia, based on the book Everyday Life in Southeast Asia by Adams and Gilligan. Let's look at a few examples from the region. So, in Thailand, environmental problems like illegal logging and deforestation are major concerns. Interestingly, Buddhist monks are responding through a movement called tree ordination. They wrap ropes around trees and order them to protect forests. This shows how religion is used in creative ways to address modern environmental challenges. So in Java, many young women face tensions between Islamic revival, traditional gender roles, and modern lifestyles. Wearing the veil or jalabab is not just about religion. For some, it's a way to balance faith and independence, especially in school and work settings. This highlights how gender and identity are constantly being negotiated in everyday life. So in the Philippines, many people struggle with poverty and illness, but religion, especially everyday Catholicism, offers comfort and hope. People listen to faith healers on the radio, create home altars, and take part in healing rituals. These practices help them finding meaning and a sense of control in uncertain times. Although these stories are from different countries, they share a common trait. People across Southeast Asia are adapting to globalization, modernity, and change, but doing so in ways that are deeply shaped by culture, religion, and daily life. As the book shows, everyday practices like praying, dressing, or painting, planting trees can reflect much bigger social and political transformations. In short, people in Southeast Asia are not just facing problems, they are actively responding, using tradition in new ways to make sense of a fast changing world.
Let's now consider how religion helps people resist danger and survive in a changing world. Religion is not just a system of beliefs in these case studies. It's a resistance weapon and survival mechanism. First, in one of Susan Darlington high field studies, we see Buddhist monks ordain trees. They perform a religious ceremony there, just like when someone becomes a monk. The tree is given special status. Cutting it down would be like hurting a monk. So this is the defense mechanism for the forest. It is a smart and effective way to turn environmental action into religious duty. Second, among Nancy Smith's Indonesian fieldwork, young women Japanese belly or hijab because they desire to announce their faith, identity, and independence, not because they have to. It is not just a symbol of obligation. It is a way to be engaged in public life and how to redefine what it means to be a modern Muslim woman. Third, in Catholic study in the Philippines, we see how everyday Catholicism, through prayer groups, healing rituals, and spiritual practices, allows poor communities to manage sickness and insecurity. When governments do not help, religion can be a source of hope and resilience. And lastly, Kathleen Bilgley and Kathleen Adams show us that religion is deeply embedded in daily life across Southeast Asia. It gives people a sense of order, purpose, and belonging during times of explosive changes. So what do we learn from these examples? We learn that religion is not fixed. It's dynamic, creative, and responsive. It allows people to resist oppression, discover their voice, and light our uncertainty. We feel religion is both a shield and a compass, something that protects individuals and something that guides them in an unpredictable and something unfair world.
Hi guys, my name is Golfy. Right now we are looking for the part 3. Is power important? Yes, it's important. In northern Thailand, Buddhist monks transformed the doctrine of ahimsa, non-violence, into culture resistance through meditation, protest, and ritual ceremonies. The challenges state like the infrastructure project using scared boundaries as ecological safeguards. Also in Indonesia, Javanese women reinterpret Islamic study groups into platforms for social negotiation. By integrating chronic discussion with childcare, cooperatives, and poverty alleviation programs, they claim moral leadership in community discussion making. The Filipino villagers believe in the Catholic iconography with animal rituals. This is locates spirituality, surprise, the introduction, no Catholicism, developing prospering indigenous cosmology through hyper worship plastics. What matters most is who has the on power to define what is scarce, what is moral, and what is the legitimate. Those examples show that religion is not just a board of sentence, it can also be a source of empowerment, enabling ordinary people to exercise control over their lives and reimagine power from the ground up. So, in conclusion, those four ethnography reveal that region is not something distant or abstract. It lives in the forest and the body, in the home and in everybody routines. It helps people find meaning, resist injustice, and research dignity in repeatedly challenging world. So, in the end, the power of religion lies not in mastery, but in presence, right in the heart of everyday life.
Hello everyone, let's move on. I will introduce our conclusion part. In summary, religion is by no means a rigid dogma but a dynamic force, closely intertwined with the daily life's predicaments and hopes. In places like Thailand, Java, and the Philippines, people use religion's practice to confront environmental crises, gender oppression, poverty, and the impact of globalization. Whether it's blazing trees, wearing head covers, or folk healing rituals, all of which demonstrate that religion is not merely a belief system, but also a tool and a mechanism of resistance, helping the disadvantaged regain their subjectivity in the fight of structural injustice.
The power that religions give to people it must also face up to an important phenomenon. Conflicts of faith often occur in people's daily lives. This conflict is not necessarily a struggle between religion, but more between tradition and modernity, between official teachings and folk beliefs, between family, gender, state, and individual. The following are some typical examples. In Indonesia, in Nancy Smith's Hanford study, young Muslim women wear the jubab to show religious devotion, but some older women worry this Islam revival is too radical and strays from Indonesia's moderate Islam tradition. This is a contradiction within the faith. On the one hand, there is the quest for sincere faith. On the other hand, there is the desire for freedom and a modern identity. In the Philippines, tension between civil Catholicism and the official church, Catherine described how Filipino believers join in spiritual healing, prayer groups, and channeling. Though the church sees this as superstitious, many find them more real and helpful, especially without proper medical or social support. These examples remind us that faith is not a fixed formula. It's a living, breathing negotiation, beliefs, and real lives. But we also want to know that the conflict of faith is about who has the right interpret of faith, the official church, or is the people's own spiritual experience. All in all, I want to talk about another question: micro-level faith conflicts in families and communities. Secularization often creates belief gaps. Young people tend to be more liberal, while older generations maintain traditional practice, especially during festival, weddings, and funerals. This is a lived conflict of faith that can be experienced by all of us. When faith becomes a source of tension, it also becomes an opportunity to question, to grow, and to understand each other better. In Thailand, sacred power conflicts between monks and states. In Darrington's study, monks held initiation ceremonies for trees to resist state development through religious means. This challenges state policies and raised the question: can Buddhist sacred needs become political resistance? The conflict is not only with religion but also a clash between religion and state.
As we all know, religion holds both power and tension. It can challenge authority, but also uplift people from the bottom up. We see this in the tension between tradition and modernity, authority and personal faith, old and new ideas. But that's exactly what makes religion adaptable. It's not physics, it evolves through questioning and practice. Because of this, religion stays rooted in daily life. It helps people fight injustice and also rebuild dignity and meaning. In the end, it's more than belief, it's a shield in hard times, a tool for change, and a space where the future is shaped. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.
Here's our reference. If you have any questions, you can leave in comment sections. Thank you for your watching, and I hope to see you again. Goodbye.